panic. If you find yourself in a moment of panic over a particular circumstance, recognize how you're thinking and feeling and the action that you are or not taking in that moment, and then change it. So change a thought to a positive thought, you'll get a positive feeling, you'll take a positive action, and you'll get a positive result. So take that away, and hopefully that will help you in terms of those moments of where you need just a little bit of a helping hand. Okay, so I'm happy to take any questions if anybody's got questions, or we can wait till the end, maybe have a think about what I've said. I'll be here after 12 o'clock anyway, so feel free to ask me then. But if there are any immediate questions, then I'm happy to take them now. If not, then because we want to get through the presentations, what I would suggest then is if we move on, and if I hand over now to Gary.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Sybil, if you can load up my presentation, thank you. Okay. For anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Gary Parker, and I'm going to go through a few slides. I'll go through this fairly quickly because I don't want to take time away from the other speakers, about potential funding for and support for women-led businesses. This is an overview. We have a number of presentations on our YouTube channel. All of our links are there. And if people want more information, or you've already got our email contact details, please email us. If you can go on to the next slide, Sybil, that would be great. This is a picture here of my colleague, Caroline Skelly. Caroline, well, she's busy working here at the moment, does all the management and organisation work for our programmes, and is very efficient. These are some of the services we offer for women-led businesses: coaching, partnership, development, fundraising and bid, stroke application writing, and of course business startup and development. There's my mobile phone number if anybody wants to call me, or my email address is there, or the CNT Associates email address is there. Of course, that's our website details as well. If you go on to the next slide, Sybil, please. These are some of the top funding sites I would recommend that you have a look at. We will be sending a summary of this presentation out later to you. But here are some good starts. The first one is from an organisation called startups.co.uk, and it's a very good overview of business support groups and resources for female entrepreneurs. Another resource I would recommend, although there is a paywall on this, is My Funding Central. If you're a startup or a new organisation or a non-profit, you can actually get it for free. There might be some charges on that for others. Another good site to look at is the Entrepreneur's Handbook, which is good generally, but it's got 60 pages of funding support information, details of grants and other funding all over the UK. The final one here is Sage Advice. That is developed by the Sage accounting software organization, and obviously they've got a vested interest in supporting small businesses, because many of them use Sage, and especially with tax going digital, I expect they've got a very bright future. But that is a really good site that I would recommend, and has a lot of specialist information on it as well. If you can go to the next slide, Sybil. This is the UK's National Business Support helpline. That phone number does change. Hopefully it will get rerouted if that's not current, but I have checked it fairly recently. But the email address and the website address are still very much are still current, and you can access business support information. All these services are free, by the way, unless I mention otherwise. If you can go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. Here's some more specific support. The first is the British Library. There's a lot of very good support you can get from the British Library for free, for example, around intellectual property. Sybil and I we run a number of webinars for and live events for the British Library. If you look at our website, or if you're on our mailing list, it's on the current list. We're running an event called Funding and Opportunities for E-commerce at the British Library next Thursday, next Wednesday, the 20th of September at 11 a.m. It is a free event, and we've had quite a lot of sign-ups for that already. There are a number of other sites there. Startup Donuts is an interesting one, and I've already mentioned My Funding Central. Startup Donut covers a number of areas, particularly around digital marketing. And My Funding Central is, I've already mentioned it, is a funding site. You can go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. These are coming up now. Good. The final one there is Enterprise Nation, which is Britain's biggest private sector business support agency. I am a member of that. They run a lot of very good free and low cost events, both online and in person. And it is a woman-led business. A woman called Emma Harrison started it up about 10 years ago, and it's now Britain's largest private sector business support organisation. If you go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. This is for anyone who's interested in tech. This is an organisation called Girl Geeks UK. They have a number of programmes. Basically, it's investment funding, and investment funding always comes with terms and conditions. So you need to check these out if you're interested in this. You've got a number of programs here that are potentially accessible, including the Female Founders Fund, which invests in female-led startups in a range of areas. Yeah, you need to check the website for what they're currently investing in, but there's a number of other programs, one called Golden Seeds, which is an angel investor network. Angel investors, for anybody who doesn't know, are usually private investors, and they invest for an equity stake in the business, usually between 10 and 25%, although it can go up to a maximum of 32%, because that's what angel investment regulations allow. But as I said, there's terms and conditions that apply to all of these. But there's a range of programs there that's well worth checking out if you're interested in tech or related areas. If you can go to the next slide, please, Sybil. This is the Fredericks Foundation. This is actually a charity that supports businesses. At one time, they did have a women-led businesses loan fund. They had £2 million in that fund, but I think it's all been allocated now. To qualify, because this is loan funding, it's not grant funding. You have to have a viable business plan that has been turned down by conventional lenders. So that can happen for a range of reasons. It could be you don't want to provide security. It could be your credit record needs to improve. It could be that you have no credit record, because that's the case often with some younger people. And you can get loans of up to £15,000 for a startup, and follow-on loans of up to £35,000 to support growth. If you go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. This is an organisation called Innovate UK, which funds a lot of tech-related projects. They've got a lot of government funding, this organisation. Last year they were given an additional £125 million to what they'd already got, and there's a range of programmes. They're trying to support more women in tech, because they're one of the underrepresented groups here, and they actually had a call out recently specifically to support underrepresented groups. I think that finished last week, which is why it's not on here. But there's a number of other programs. There are some programs to support with mentoring and coaching, as well as grants for women-led tech businesses. So again, that's well worth checking out, that particular site. I'm actually writing a funding application for a woman-led accountancy business at the moment for the financial technology support program, which is a very interesting initiative. That's still out there if anybody's interested in that. The deadline is in about 2 weeks' time, but they're all accessible through the Innovate UK site. You can go on to the next one, please, Sybil. That is a bit more detail about the Women in Tech program. They have had a range of support. You need to check the details as to whether this program is currently still there, because they do change them quite a lot, but there are still a number of programs. This one was a program where women were able to secure £50,000 each, as well as a bespoke program of coaching, mentoring, and innovation growth support. And they're saying since it was first launched in 2016, the number of women leading applications for grants to Innovate UK has increased by 70%, which is good news. Let's hope that continues. Next slide, please, Sybil. Here is another investment fund. This is called Angels Academe, and they call themselves the UK's leading angel network for women. They invest in women-led tech businesses. The primary ones are financial technology, digital media, cybersecurity, educational technology, business to business, and business to business to community. So it could be partnership businesses working with the community, or a range of other options. The investment levels are between 150,000 and 1.5 million. If you go to the next slide, please, Sybil. Here's one that has a very different focus, just to show you what's out there. This is an American non-profit called the Global Fund for Women. they aim to support projects which are making changes to advance gender equality and human rights in communities. So it could be a business project to support women. It could be a community project. I mean, this is an international program because, you know, we have got a very diverse audience this morning. So some of these funds are international funds and operate around the globe. They operate everywhere except the US, actually. But again, there's quite a lot of terms and conditions with this program, so you need to check the detail of who is applicable at any particular time. But the main qualification is that your project has got to be woman-led, whatever it is, whether it's a business or a charitable project, whatever. If you can go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. I'm going to do crowdfunding in about 2 minutes. What is it? There's two types. One is a kind of Dragon's Den type investment where individuals and organizations will invest in a project, and you have to put your project online and make a video with it. The biggest private sector one is one called Seeders, which is an American site which operates internationally. In the UK, there are two interesting ones. One is called crowdfunder.co.uk. If you're interested in this, that's a good place to start. And that's more community focused, but it does fund businesses as well. And then the other one is Crowdcube, which is an investment program similar to Seeders. But all of them invite individuals or investment groups to invest in a particular project. Another one I mentioned there is Kickstarter. That is was originally for creative industries, but it has spread out and supports a range of other businesses and sectors as well. So the main principles of crowdfunding is that the community, whether it's individuals or businesses or investment groups, invest in a specific project that you put online, which is time limited. And the key to crowdfunding is marketing and publicity, because you can put your crowdfunding project on one of these sites, but if nobody knows about it, then it's going to struggle. So you have to make sure that you use your social media and any other links that you've got to publicize it and to draw traffic to that site, and then it's much more likely to succeed. If anybody's interested in that, then please contact us, but you need to do your research on this, I would suggest, before you embark on it and get some advice from some source or another. If you go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. This is what crowdfunder.co.uk is offering. Access to relevant and additional funding, because sometimes if you can raise money via this, if you can raise £5,000, they might be able to get one of their partners to match that with another £5,000. This is what happened during the pandemic. The Greater London Authority actually match funded some of their programs, which was a very popular program. They also offer the ability to offer rewards. You can offer people rewards on crowdfunding projects, whatever that is. It could be free training if you're a training organization. It could be free products if you sell products or other services. If you're a private business, they charge you 5% of what you raise. So they hold the funding, so you don't have to pay up front. They will take that from whatever funding you manage to raise through crowdfunding. There are some transaction fees as well. So that's crowdfunding. If you can move on to the next slide, please, Sybil. This was another program that was running last year. This is an example program, but I think we're going to see more of these. This was a reproductive wellbeing program in the workplace for women-led businesses. This is part of a program running till 2025, and there were some quite big grants between 200,000 and 600,000 pounds to support women's reproductive well-being in the workplace for various projects. And there's a link there that you can have a look at. Go on to the next slide, please. This is for anybody who's interested in social enterprises. There's an organisation called Unlimited, and they offer grants and support of up to £15,000 to an existing social enterprise, and up to £5,000 for a new social enterprise. And Unlimited do say they're committed to providing 50% of their awards to Black, Asian and minority ethnic social entrepreneurs and or disabled social entrepreneurs. But your project needs to have a real social impact, fulfill a clear need and demand, and have clear outputs and goals. If you're interested in that, I would look directly at the website, because again, subject to terms and conditions, and these do change. Next slide, please, Sybil. This is a program that operates in areas where there are landfill projects. For example, we are based in the London Borough of Bexley, and there are some landfill projects here, and some programs are offered by the association that supports these landfill projects, and you can get grants of between £10,000 and £75,000. But these are postcode limited. So if you go onto that site, you put your postcode details of where your project is or is going to be located, and they will tell you if you are eligible. But this is, you know, these sites are all over the UK. Next slide, please, Sybil. Here is another one for non-profit making organisations. City Bridge Trust has been around for a long time, and you can get grants of up to £100,000. But again, there are terms and conditions on this, and they have a number of programs which change regularly. So it's better to look at the website to get the most up-to-date information. If you can go to the next slide, please, Sybil. Wanted to mention this one because this is Britain's biggest charitable funder, the Wellcome Trust. They give over £700 million a year, and you can apply unusually as an individual, as a sole trader, as a business, or a non-profit, or a charity. They have a range of programs. They've tended to look at biomedical research and development, but this can be illustrated. This is one of the programs, the Public Engagement Fund, using any creative methodology, i.e. film, art, digital media, drama, or other creative media. And as you can see, the grants range from 5,000 to 3 million. So this is a very big funder, and they've been making lots of money selling vaccines during the pandemic. So that money will continue and probably increase, I suspect. So there are other programs on that. There's about 15, but I don't have the space on this presentation to cover more than one of them, but that's one of them. But check that out. The Wellcome Foundation Trust. The website address is at the bottom of this slide. You can go on to the next slide, please, Sybil, coming towards the end now. This is the Entrepreneur's Handbook. I mentioned this earlier. There's 60 pages of grant funding on that, and they give details of each grant, including the funding amount, grant criteria, coverage, and more. If you can go to the next slide, please. Coming towards the end now. This is one I would recommend you have a look. The Government Grants Hub. It's got all government grants on one site. They do change a bit, but that's worth having a look at. And it's sectorized as well, and it includes non-profit making organisations too. Okay, if you go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. A little bit about charitable trusts. I'm not going to talk too much about this. if you're interested in this, the best site to go to sites are the first two, charityexcellence.co.uk and Grants Online. Grants Online is a pay site, but you can get access to the website for free. You just can't get information about individual grants or through to their contact details, but of course you can Google them if you know the names of them. So that site is definitely worth checking out. We use it. We've actually got a subscription for it. It's not overly expensive. Charity Excellence is a free site as well, run by various charitable organisations, but charities in the UK are still giving 5 billion a year in grants, and that is not going to. You can go to the next slide, please, Sybil. This is one of the last slides. This is definitely a site worth looking at. It's got many government grants and funds on it, UKRI, UK Research and Innovation. And there's a list of things there that they're interested in supporting. It's not a definitive list. There was about 30 sectors, but I couldn't get them all on one slide. So there's some of the most popular ones, including developing people and skills. And you can add AI to this as well at the moment, and responding to climate change and various others. Definitely worth having a look at that one. Next slide, please, Sybil. This is the British Library. Just to mention them, we are running this programme next week. They've had a programme running at local level, which may come back in some form very soon. And just to let people know as well, we've got this event next week, but if you're based in the London Borough of Bexley, we can provide you with some limited free business support at the moment. And but you have to be registered or situated within the London Borough of Bexley. There are programmes running in other London boroughs as well, but I would suggest you check your council website. But the British Library itself offers a range of support, which is all free. Intellectual property is a very important issue now, and you need to be careful that others can't either exploit or use your intellectual property without your permission. And you can get a lot of very good free advice from the British Library on how to do that. And they've got this business and IP centre actually situated within the library that you can utilise. Okay, if you can go on to the next slide, please, Sybil. We're almost finished now. I just wanted to show you one of our clients. This was Nicole Bowen, who we worked with last year, who runs a company called Michael Caribbean Imports, and she produces a range of sauces and spicy products. You can see some of them there. What did we do with Nicole? We advised her about a range of business support programs she could access because she needed a lot of help, particularly around the branding and marketing of her products, and we're able to access a range of support for her. We advised her on a number of funding opportunities to develop her business, and we provided support from some academic institutions, because we have links with Greenwich University's food support program, food business support program, which is some businesses, especially those in Greenwich and some in Kent, are eligible to join for free, which is a very good program. So that's in a nutshell what we did with one of our clients. We also provided them with some business planning support as well. Okay, I think that's it now, Sybil. So if you can stop the presentation, please.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions, or if you want to put something in the chat or talk to me later, because I realise I've covered a lot of ground there, but you will get a copy of this later. Okay. I can't see anybody at the moment, so back to you, Michelle.
Fabulous. And thank you for a detailed and comprehensive presentation there, Gary. I'm sure everybody's going to find that informative. Can I move on to our next speaker, who is Sybil from Sybiltec, an IT expert. She's going to present and share some of her wisdom with you this morning. So over to you, Sybil.
Thank you, Michelle. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Yeah, so being in the digital age, it's very easy nowadays to get overwhelmed with the number of different tools and apps and softwares which are available out there. So I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to simplify your digital life. So a bit of background to myself. My name is Sybil and I run a business called Sybiltec, which provides website design and development services to SMEs. So I work with small businesses from almost any industry sector, helping them to improve their online presence through better web design. So first thing is something that we seem to be unable to live without these days, which is email. So here's some tips on how you can manage it more effectively. So there really is no need to respond to emails immediately. If someone needs to contact you about something that's very urgent, they'll probably give you a call anyway. So what I suggest is, rather than checking emails constantly, just set specific times each day, so maybe 2 or 3 times maximum, where you read and respond to emails in batches. And if you come across an email which you need more time to think about and to come back later, you can always flag it so it's highlighted in your inbox. But don't overuse that feature, otherwise you'll just end up with a huge list of flagged emails. So use it sparingly. Set up and out of office replies. So if you're going to be away from your office or you just need some time to work on something else undisturbed, then set up an automatic reply so you can manage expectations and let people know when you'll be back checking your emails again. If you're like me and you have subscribed to so many different newsletters, most of which you don't even read, then there's a tool called unroll.me, which connects to your email inbox. And what that does is it summarizes all the subscriptions you have, and it makes it easy to go through them all and unsubscribe from the ones that you no longer need. If there are some newsletters that you really do need to be subscribed to, then see if it's possible to reduce the frequency at which you receive them. So instead of receiving them daily or several times a day, see if there's an option to receive it weekly instead, so your email box doesn't get cluttered. Another source of frustration is passwords, because we have so many of them. And a good way to manage these is by using a password manager. So this is a free add-on that you install in your browser. One example of these is called LastPass, but there are others. So the advantage of using a password manager is you don't need to keep writing down your passwords on pieces of paper and notebooks or storing them on emails, so they'll all be in one place. So you no longer have to remember them or forget them. And they also include a password generator, so you can make sure that your passwords are secure and unique across different websites, so you don't reuse the same ones. Social media, I often find I get overwhelmed by the number of platforms there are out there, but you don't need to be on all of them, and just take one or two that's most suitable to your business and stick to those. And rather than posting on an ad hoc basis, I would suggest creating a content planner. So this is where you can list out the content that you're going to post and when you'll be posting it. So it's all planned out. And use a scheduling tool. For example, there's one called Buffer, which allows you to put your content into a calendar, and it will automatically schedule it will automatically make the posts published at the time that you schedule them for. So you can schedule everything in advance and then forget about it, and the posts will go out at the time that you publish, that you scheduled them for. And you can use AI, such as ChatGPT, to generate content ideas. And we'll be learning more about AI in a later presentation today. Project management. So if you work with several clients at the same time, can be difficult to keep track of them all. So I use a tool called Trello, which is a free tool. And there's the concept of boards, lists, and cards. So it's up to you how you use these, but personally, I use one board per project. I create lists, for example, to do, doing, done, as shown in the image there. And the cards can correspond to tasks. And what I like to do is for each task, I'd set a due date. And when that due date comes, it will send me an email notification with a list of all the tasks that need to be completed by that date. And a key here is to be realistic with the number of tasks that you think you can aim to complete per day. So there's no use in setting yourself 20 or 30 tasks to be done on one day, because that's not going to happen. It's much better to aim for, say, 5 tasks that you know you'll be able to complete. And then lastly, we have some smartphone tips. So scan text is a feature I use if I have some text on a piece of paper, whether that's handwritten or printed, and I want to transfer it to my computer. Rather than typing everything manually, I would scan the text with my phone, and it will automatically convert it into a digital form. So I can put it into an email or into a notes app on my phone or anywhere else I need it digitally. So that's quite handy. Then there's dictation. So most people can speak faster than they can type or write. So sometimes it's easier just to speak into your phone rather than typing it. So with dictation, you can convert your speech into text, which makes it a lot quicker. Very good for typing emails or just for notes. And lastly, we have my favorite productivity tool called Airplane Mode. So what I suggest you do is block out a time of the day where you can work on something, work on a task, completely focused without any interruptions. Put your phone on airplane mode and just work through the task until it's done, or try to get as much as you can completed in that time. So airplane mode will turn off everything, so you won't receive any calls or any notifications. And if you do want a bit more control over this, you can use Do Not Disturb instead. So with this, you're able to set whether you want to receive only calls or only notifications, or you can even set which apps you want to receive notifications from, and you can block others, and you can set which contacts you want to receive calls and texts from and block others. for example. Okay. So lastly, if you want to get in touch with me, here are my contact details, and you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'm offering a free 15-minute consultation via Zoom. So we can talk about how I'm able to help you. So as mentioned, my main services are website design and development, but I can also help you with other IT aspects of your business. So for example, you might be overwhelmed with the number of tools you're using and you want to use them more effectively, or maybe you want to reduce the number of tools you're using. Then we can talk about how I can support you with that. So I hope this presentation was helpful and it helps to reduce some of the overwhelm in your digital life. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Sybil. I have got notes here that I'm going to take away and things that I'm going to implement that I knew nothing about. So I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one. Thank you very much. Can I suggest if there are any questions, we leave them or put them in the chat and come back to them? I'm just conscious that we are approaching 12 o'clock and I know we started a little bit later. And we have said that we're going to be here until 12:30 anyway, but if anybody has to dash off, don't forget that the presentation is being recorded, so you're not going to miss anything. But please, if you can, do stay, because it's always great to hear directly from the presenters themselves. Okay, so now I think we'll hand over to Bebe, who I believe is a multi-entrepreneur, and she's going to tell you all about what she does and some of her thoughts and suggestions. Over to you, Bebe.
Good morning, ladies. Thank you. Good morning, ladies, or afternoon, I think. Let me quickly share the screen. Can you see that? Okay, cool. So hi, and welcome to Tips on How to Develop Your Business. Tips on how to develop your business. Let me do that slideshow, bear with me. Slideshow. Okay. So as you said, my name is Bebe Clement. My background is law, but I'm alongside my husband, I'm an entrepreneur and we run a group of small companies. I'm also an international speaker. I speak mainly on business and entrepreneurship, particularly in the small business space, and also leadership. I'm also an author. I've written 2 books. This is my first book, How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur. So if you are still employed and you're thinking of joining the exciting world of entrepreneurship, then this will be a great tool for you. And even if you've started your own business, but you're floundering a bit or you're finding your feet, this would be a great tool for you. It's actually on the reading list of a master's program at one of the universities in London. So I'm very proud of that book. This is my second book, my new book, Wealth in God's Way. I'm a Christian, and I believe that there's a lot of spiritual principles around finance and money. So I put all the things that I've learned in there, and so you can get both of those. And I hope that you do, because I'm always putting things in the public domain that will help you in your entrepreneurial journey. All right, I got 5 minutes, so I'm going to go real quick. So I'm going to be talking about tips on how to develop your business. Okay. First one, put systems in place that ensure that your business is not dependent on your physical presence to generate income. Now, what does that mean? It means that if, in order to make money, in order for your business to become profitable and bring money in, you have to physically be inside an office, chained to your laptop or your computer for money to come in, then I would very respectfully suggest that what you have created is not a business, it is a job. The very thing that we were trying to escape from in the first place. So what you need to do is set up your business in such a way that it can survive and thrive without your physical presence. Because if you don't, what you'll find is that you'll be scared to even go on holiday because there's no money coming in while you're on holiday. and you don't want that. So how do you do that? So one of the ways in which you can do that is to automate your systems as much as possible. And I already got some tips from Sybil there. So Sybil, thank you very much. But there are other ways in which you can automate your system. So for instance, if you sell products or services, then you might want to have an e-commerce website so that people can order your products online and they can pay for those products online. So you don't have to be involved in the sale process at all. So a typical day for me, I wake up in the morning, the first thing I go and do is check my emails, and I look at how many people have ordered the books or other merchandise, because there's other merchandise as well, the books or other merchandise, and then they've paid, so I don't need to speak to them at all. I just pack everything up, and then my PA goes and sends them off to the post office. So that's one way of setting up some automation so that you don't have to be involved in the face-to-face or hands-on side of the business. Another way of doing this, and this is more long-term, probably not when you first of all start out, but something you must be thinking about even in the early days, is you need to build a team that understands and can run with your vision. So they understand your vision, they're confident in running with it. And that's another way, because as a business owner, you will quickly find that if you're not careful, you spend so much time in the business that you're not able to work on the business. And what you want to do is to remove yourself as much as possible from the day-to-day hands-on crap, for want of a better word, so that you can strategically be awake to lead your business and to grow it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is get on a stage. How many of you remember Robert Kiyosaki? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, do you remember him? He's coming to London this month, so if you have an opportunity to listen to me, I think it's worth going. Knowledge, he says this, he says, knowledge is the new currency and public speaking is the new bank. I cannot overemphasize the importance of that statement, and I'm a living witness that that is true. In the last, I think, 2-3 years, I've been paid £10,000 twice for a one-day speaking engagement. The second engagement, I only spoke for an hour and a half, and they still paid me £10,000. Listen, we are in the information age. People want to know everything, everything. There is no space that you are in that somebody doesn't want to know about, whether it's cooking, whether it's how to get up after a crisis in your life, whatever it is, people want to know. Now, the day of each one, reach one, that's gone. No one's got time for that anymore, where you corner someone at a networking event and you practically have to beg them to, to put a space in their diary over the next 2 weeks where you can go and see them in their office and do your spiel, and at the end of it, they say, oh, sorry, we don't want it anyway. That day is gone. So any opportunity that you get, such as today, to stand in front of a group of people and speak about your products and services clearly, confidently, and convincingly, grab it with both hands. So one of the first things that I do whenever I'm going to go to a networking event is I contact the organizers and say, will there be an opportunity for me to address the room? If there's not, it's unlikely that I'll go. But once you do, and you do your job well, you speak knowledgeable about your product, then a lot of people more likely will hire you or buy whatever it is that you're going to sell. But knowledge is definitely the new currency, and police is the new bank. Use social media to best advantage. Best advantage. Now, a lot of us are on social media, but we're using it in a way that is very effective. And can I say something about social media? Likes on your social media page are not customers. Customers are customers. So it doesn't matter how many likes that you get. You need to convert that to customers. So one of the first things you need to do is look at your product or your service. Who is buying your product and where do you find them online? So for example, if I was selling hoodies to young people, there is no point in me going to promote my hoodies on LinkedIn because you hardly find any young people on LinkedIn. And if they do come to LinkedIn, they're definitely not coming to look for hoodies. Maybe they were looking for a job or something like that, but they're not looking for hoodies. So who is your target audience? What is their demographic? And where do they have a strong presence online? That's what you need to target. Go and sit in front of your clients. They say that attention is the new currency. You got 3 seconds to get someone's attention online now. So if I was going to promote my hoodies to young people, what are the media that they use? TikTok, Instagram. They hardly even go to Facebook anymore. Those are the places that I'd be. And when I say have a strong presence, you are initiating conversations, you are constant, you are consistent in your posting. That doesn't mean you have to be there every minute, but does mean you can't post once a month or once every 2 weeks. You can't do that. You have to be consistent, because consistency builds trust. You think of if you were going to buy a product from 2 people and somebody sent you something through the post, and somebody online that you see practically every other day, they're posting that, oh, I'm going to be speaking at CNT today. Tomorrow they're talking about, they've got a new book. The day after they're talking about a webinar that they're holding. Who are you likely to hire? Somebody that you see on a regular basis that sounds and looks like they know what they're talking about. It builds on a subliminal level, it builds trust. So use your social media to best advantage. Who are your competitors and what can you do better, not cheaper? Whenever we think of competitors, that's what we always think. Oh, if I undercut my competition, I will make more sales. Not necessarily. Let me quickly show you this. So, for instance, in next month, we're having this real estate wealth summit. One of the speakers is me and some of my colleagues. Will put this together, and it costs £1,000. Now, I know that in the current climate, £1,000 is a lot. So we looked at what our competition were offering. There are a lot of seminars about wealth, about property investment, a lot of seminars. But we looked at what can we offer that will add greater value to our clients, that they'd be willing to pay for the £1,000. And one of the things that we thought about was people, when they go into business, they get all the information, but really what they need is someone to hold their hand. That's what they need, to walk them through the process and hold their hand. So we decided that we'd offer a 90-day mentorship opportunity. Now, practically everyone that I've spoken to that has registered, and we only wanted 40 people, and we've nearly hit our target, said to us, the reason why we signed up to this is for that 90-day mentorship program, because it adds value to them. So when you're looking at your competitors, look at what they're doing, and see how you can do it better, not cheaper, but better. What can you add by way of value? Listen, there's nothing like a product that's too expensive. Primark sells bags for £20, but somebody is also paying for Hermes Birkin bags. And I saw one online the other day for £54,000. So there's nothing like a product that's too expensive. If you add value, people will pay for it. And the very last thing that I'm going to say is develop a mindset for success. Develop a mindset for success. There is no reason why you can't be successful in business. And we carry so many subliminal hang-ups, it's unreal. Oh, I can't do it, I'm too old. Who told you that? Who told you that? Michelle said she started her first business in middle age. There is no age limit to this. No age limit at all. You can do it. Some of us listen, we all have a story. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason why, if you let it will stop you from succeeding. Some of us are single parents. When I think about J.K. Rowling's story, she was a single parent. She was divorced. She was on antidepressants and she was on benefit. But she used what she had to get what she wanted. All she knew how to do was write. And that was what made her what she is. I think about people like Oprah Winfrey, who was abused as a child, still didn't stop her. There is no reason. I'm raising a child with special needs. There is no reason why you cannot be the very best that God intended for you to be in business and in the marketplace. No reason at all. So people like Richard Branson, they don't have 2 heads. They were born of a woman just like you. So there's no reason why you can't be successful. It is up to you to make a decision that, yes, there are issues in my life and everybody has issues, but they're just going to be the comma of my life. They're not going to be the full stop. I wish you every success in your business. And thank you very much for listening.
Bebe, thank you for the inspiration. That was marvelous. Energy and inspiration, lots to take away from that. Again, I'm sure everybody else will agree. Okay, if we do the same again, any questions in the chat, and we can then move over to Dani and her presentation on AI.
Hi, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I'm gonna run quickly because I know I'm very conscious of time. Let's see if I can share my screen. Can you all see what I at the moment? Let's see, share. Can you see it? Excellent. So basically, yeah, I'm gonna whiz through the whole thing. So hi everyone, I'm a photographer. I'm specialized in workflows. And I know it's kind of complicated to think about photography and workflow, but I basically work as an image consultant for lots of culture and heritage institutions and small businesses as well. Let me just start my, can you see it moving now? Oh, excellent. So what I try to make is I try to make people achieve their best with the resources that they have in terms of imaging. My clients are normally museums and galleries. I work from all the museums and galleries in London and abroad as well. And throughout the years, I realized that there is a massive overlap, a crossover between museums needs and small businesses environment. And because of my background, I was a coder as a teenager. I don't code anymore. So I'm a very geeky kind of photographer. I have a very IT mind. And one of the things that I think is going to be crucial from now on with both sectors is understand the potential of generative AI, which most people now call just AI. But basically, there's a difference what a generative AI is and AI in itself. But let's call it AI to be, a smaller word, because generative is quite a mouthful word. So if you don't know what AI, how AI could help you, if you feel threatened by it or overwhelmed just by the idea of using it, or you think it's cheating, or you say, like Bebe said, oh, that's not for me, I'm too old, I can't do this kind of stuff. If you're struggling, are ready to update your website, you might think that, I'm not interested, that's not for my business. I personally think there is a problem in the horizon. I think the business world is very competitive. And if you are not thinking about the latest trend, or you think it's not appealing to your business, I think you're going to be left behind. So as a consultant, I think my advice would be to see AI as a new journey, and the start of a party, basically. And I think the first thing to do is to try to understand what it is. And can you see moving? Yeah. So what is AI? So it's a type of artificial intelligence. That's why I'm making very sure that it's generative AI. So it's one type of AI that I'm talking about, and it has the ability to generate new content and new information. And what that means, well, new content, like Sybil mentioned, it could create taglines for your business. You could think about your industry, your products, and thinking, optimizing, for instance, like both Bebe and Sybil mentioned, optimizing, streamlining your taglines. It's just one idea because I don't have time to go through a lot. I just want to insert a seed in your mind. And in terms of new information, it can, let's say, for instance, identify some patterns in your selling trends that you haven't realized. Maybe, you input the data there that you already have, and it comes up and saying, oh, maybe you sell a lot of this kind of muffins just before the holidays, and you never thought about it. And you go like, oh, hang on a minute, there's something here. So if you don't know where to start, because I'm telling you all these examples, and I think the idea would be to think about something that you do over and over again, and that you think, well, maybe if I do this so many times, maybe I could get rid of it, or something that you fantasize having a robot doing for you, or even something that you say, you know what, I so wish I could be more time efficient with this task. So what I'm trying to say here, I'm not an AI expert. What I'm trying to say is we need together as small businesses to create this idea of a pool of where we share knowledge. And there's a lot, I'm really good at researching tools and really interested in finding the best way of doing things. So my idea here is you get in touch or maybe we put together a group of people that we exchange ideas and we exchange knowledge and how to optimize and use the best tools. There are incredible tools already. On Google spreadsheets, you can add AI and just write incredible, funny, or really, dry, depending on how your business criteria is, taglines, and it's so fantastic. So basically, I'll leave you with this last slide, because that's what I'm all about. And I think, as I said, the journey, and I don't think you should wait any longer to start playing around with it, because at the moment it's playful. It's a party that I think we all should be joining together. And I don't think there's nobody at the moment that's an AI expert. There are people that are writing the AI codes, but that's not for us. For us is to join the party and share. I'm really interested in sharing knowledge. So let's get together in this journey. Thank you.
Dani, thank you. I love the thought of seeing AI as a party. We've all got the ability to shape this, and yeah, an exciting opportunity. So thank you for that sort of different way of looking at it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I want to kind of break with this scare of oh, it's AI is not for me. So let's see from a different perspective,
Yeah, there's definite advantages. Thank you. Okay, well, that is the end of our presentations for today, and I know we had said that we would stay around until 12:30 anyway. So any questions, feel free to come off mute to ask questions or pop them in the chat. Okay, I see somebody has their hand up, but I've got looking forward. I don't know your name.
Sorry. Yeah, my name is Carolina. Dani, I have a question for you, actually.
Sure.
So could you give some example of some work you have been doing for museums and galleries, so I can practically see what kind of work you do?
Yeah, sure. So I do, for instance, I go to a museum that has a very small budget, or the opposite. Sometimes they have a big budget, and they want to optimize their photography, because museums need a lot of images. And so I then set up for them workstations, photographical workstations, but also because I'm really specialized in workflow, I see the whole project, how it integrates with the museum itself. So for instance, every image you see, that if you go online to the V&A collection online, for instance, all the images there needs to be not only produced, but then put online. And then if you need to download that image, you can choose the size of the download. So all this process all happens behind, and I can help you with all this behind.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Welcome. Pleasure.
Anybody else? Any burning questions or?
I have a question for Dani, actually. With regards to AI, I'd love to dip my toe in the water and find out what's what, but I don't know where to start.
Okay.
I've heard of ChatGPT. I don't know if you have to pay for it or anything. So where do we start, please?
Yeah, I think ChatGPT would be the first call. If you just go there, open AI, and then it's free, and you can just for fun start having a conversation with the machine. But let's say what's your product? What is your business about?
Oh, so say coaching, for example.
Okay, so let's say you write a tag, you write some. The thing with AI is teaching it how to bring back what you need. So in that sense, you write, let's say on ChatGPT, your first thing that you go there just for fun, saying, "Hi, hello, you are an expert and you are an editor. Please write me a tagline about coaching for this beautiful sunny day today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's going to write to you. It's just, so I think what you have to do is at the beginning, it's go there to play.
Yeah.
Don't go with any kind of thing in mind, and then start to understand how it reacts. And sometimes it comes up with terrible feedback, terrible things, but it's funny. And then with that, you start understanding how it operates. So I think the way to go would be ChatGPT. And then if you understand a little bit more, you can add that to Google Spreadsheets and then become more serious. But I would suggest going there. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, Dani.
Welcome.
Can I just add to that? We use AI here, and indeed that's one of the things I'm working with Dani on a few projects. What we found with ChatGPT is the politer you are to it, the better the response that you get. It's very strange. So always ask very polite questions, and you have to keep refining the questions that you ask it in order to get the information. Where we found it, because I do think there's quite a lot of hype about this, is it's quite good for strategies. For example, we work on a lot of projects. If we need a monitoring and evaluation strategy, we'll ask for advice about that. It could be, you can use it for, I know of businesses that have developed a marketing program, and they asked ChatGPT to refine some of the emails, from stage 1 to 10 of the marketing project. It's very good for that. I'm working with someone at the moment who does a lot of work in the sort of visual area, but they also do a lot of work around audio recording, and the things that are happening there are quite frightening. They can clone people's voices now, because I didn't believe him, but he sent me a voice message of his own voice that he'd cloned. So that can have some consequences in the wrong hands, I can tell you, where you clone people's voices. But we're just at as Dani said, I think she's totally right, we're at the beginning of a journey here, but it's the small steps first, I think, where it's going to be most successful, because there's a lot of AI related work being done for big corporates, of course, because they always get there first, don't they? But very little at the SME, small business end, sole trader end, and that's what Dani and I are focusing on. The sort of workflow. How can we help to make businesses more efficient? It's almost a low-tech approach rather than a high-tech approach, isn't it, Dani? Am I correct in saying that?
Exactly, yeah. So I think for me, what I'm interested in and actually quite passionate about working with small businesses is the fact that it's a solution for any level, and all the media and everything we are getting fed is that AI, like the example you gave about reproducing or copying the voice, that's a higher level. That's not what we hear in this environment right now. We need something really small and practical. It's almost like, so going back to, I can't see your name. I just see Looking Forward is the name of the lady that asked me a question about museums. So for instance, I work with very small museums that they have 2 members of staff to run the whole museum. Imagine that, really small museum, but they still have the same needs as the British Museum, which I also work for. I cannot give the same tools. So for the small museums, I then recommend photographing even with an iPhone and making the most of it. So what I'm interested here is the same thing, is bringing things down to our level, but doesn't mean that our level is lower. It's just fitting with what we need. We don't need a lot of super high-tech AI. What we need is what we need. And that's what I'm interested in. And that's why I think sharing and being more like a party is the future for our sector.
Yeah, that whole sentiment of collaboration, I think it is a wonderful way to approach things, isn't it? I see that completely. Yeah. Gary, was there anything else that you wanted to add about the follow-up from today?
Yeah, This will be recorded. It will we do some editing, and then it will go on YouTube, and it may go on other platforms. Like, for example, the last one we put on LinkedIn. We've done 2 previous ones, and they've had over 1,000 views on LinkedIn alone. So these do get viewed, and it will go on our YouTube channel. You'll get a copy of the slides that I produced. Our YouTube channel link is on that presentation, so it obviously is free. There are many presentations on. I think we got 35 presentations on it at the moment, and we're adding more all the time. The other thing I wanted to mention again is, if you're a Bexley-based business, we can offer you some free business support at the moment, funded by a government funded program and supported by Bexley Council. But you do have to either be based here or have a substantial client group here offering services here. But these programs are going to operate. I know, for example, next door in Greenwich, they're going to be running some similar ones very soon, and that will happen in other London boroughs as well. So my advice is to look at wherever your local authority is, look at the council's website. It's a thing called UK SPA, Shared Prosperity Fund, SPF rather, but it is free. There's no charges for it at all to individual businesses, and that's well worth checking out. I'd also like to thank all the speakers from today for the excellent job that they've done. As always, I've learned stuff from everybody. Thank you, Bebe. It's the first time you've been on here for a long time. I learned from your passion and enthusiasm, because I think you're 100% right on the things that you presented. Other speakers I'm more familiar with. I think you've all done a great job.
Have we got any more questions, or are we going to wrap up now?
Sorry, the other thing I would mention is, obviously you can save the chat as well, which I'm going to do right now, and then you can get people's contact details in the chat if they've left them there. But if you look at our website, we are running a range of other events as well, and there's the British Library event next week on the 20th. That's free from 11 till 12:30 at the British Library, which I'm doing with Sybil, who's here today as well. And I'm sure that'll be an interesting event, and a very good networking event for anybody who wants to go along to it as well.
I can see in the chat that Chika is asking for the LinkedIn address. I think, Gary, that's a question for you.
Okay, I will. I'll forward that to her.
I think there was somebody earlier on as well who'd asked for things to be sent to them because they had to go, but we go back.
Yeah, the recording, we've got that one. The recording will be, obviously it'll be online soon anyway, once we've done some editing on it.
Yes. So anybody want to hook up and share contact details?
Yeah, can I just say that
my
sorry, Bebe,
no, go, please.
Yeah, no, I just want to say that my I'm an artist as well. So if you go to my website, the main page, the web it's my art practice, but there's over there as well my photography practice. And the easiest way to find me for business support is LinkedIn. Yeah, Dani Tagen. Thank you. I'll put the link.
Okay, and also last, my web just was maintenance. But if you want to contact me, all my contact details are in the chat. And yes, if you want to attend that property investment seminar, please let me know and I can send you all the details. And of course, the books are available on Amazon should you want to buy them. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Right, so we've got a few people adding their contact details in the chat as well, so feel free to have a look at that before you leave, everybody, and then make a note of those details. Marvellous, thank you. Yeah, I am taking away an awful lot from today, so thank you. The questions are so helpful as well, because they give another perspective on some of the issues. So thank you all for those that have asked questions. Yeah.
It's 12:30 now, Michelle.
Okay, well, 12:30 it is. Thank you all very much for coming. I hope you found it useful. Keep an eye on the CNT website for any future up and coming events. And yeah, hopefully see some of you again soon.
Just to say as well, if anybody has any difficulties saving the chat or getting the details of any of the speakers, just email CNT and we will forward any emails to the speakers, because we're grateful for the time they've spent here today, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all.